Hello everybody, Cal Kimmy here, and I'm here today to bring you my last reaction video. Illymation, how I survived middle school mean girls. I already told you all about my bully situation that I had to deal with in school. To be honest, I'm glad I didn't have to deal with any mean girls.
Recently, a friend of mine told me that I say sorry too much. And yeah, he's right. I'm sorry. I'm the kind of person where if you bump into me, I will say sorry, because according to my subconscious, no, I was in your way. Please don't be mad at me. Even if you're just a display stand of cookies at the grocery store.
That's
and sometimes,
not
most times, yeah,
hurt
goes both ways. All parties were at fault somehow, so everyone should just shake hands and say sorry. Let bygones be bygones. But sometimes, too, other people just hurt you, unprovoked. They're upset about something else entirely, and they take their anger out on you. Usually their name is Karen, and it sucks. I know I've hurt people like that, and I've said, I'm sorry, even though nothing can make it better besides a time machine. But still, I think we all deserve to hear, I'm sorry for what I did. How can I help fix this? But getting to that conclusion takes a lot of effort. Yeah. And part of growing up is learning to accept that in some situations, one word can't undo that kind of damage. In 6th grade, I was bullied by a girl I'll call Minnie. That's obviously not her real name, by the way. Minnie was taller than me, stronger than me, had more friends than me, and did sports. She wasn't some preppy popular kid, but she was chill with just about everyone, even some teachers. I, on the other hand, was a quiet, nervous, nerdy, shy kid who had a crush on Kovu from The Lion King 2. And that's still me today, baby. My middle school was grades 6 through 8. The incoming student body was a mix of like 2 or 3 different elementary schools, and thus I was completely separated from my longtime friends of 5th grade. So now, I guess I had to make brand new friends, and I guess me being alone made me a target for bullying. But that's not my fault. Gosh. And that's why I found it so weird when Minnie started picking on me at the very start of 6th grade. Like, dude, we just spawned. Why are you getting so aggressive? I don't even know you. I also remember her 2 little followers, Willow and Frankie, also not their real names, and them finding me in the hallways between classes to discover new ways to call me fat and ugly and stupid, and brainstorm aloud new animals to relate my body to. Penguin was their favorite, and they'd walk behind me in the hallway like penguins to mock me. I found it really weird how no one said anything to stop it. This made her behavior seem acceptable. And thus, it made it okay for others to treat me like this too. I tried to talk to people and make new friends, but they'd just straight up pretend I was invisible. When I'd raise my hand in class, some kids would mock me, and others would laugh. It seemed like I couldn't do anything without being picked on for it. This made me hate school so much, and I was scared and sad to have to go in every day. And the only way out of this was to wait for it to be over. I had to wait a whole year for 7th grade to roll around so I could pick different classes, away from Minnie. Like, I took typing class to avoid Minnie. I'm a zillennial. I can type. It was a waste of time. But
I love
I did get to play Papa's Pizzeria for like an hour every day because I always finished my work early, so maybe it worked out. But my point still stands. No one wanted to sit with me, no one wanted to be on my team, and no one wanted to be my friend for fear that whatever was wrong with me that Minnie didn't like would rub off on them too. Like lice. But I don't have lice. I'm sure everyone else did though, because they all had slumber parties, and I didn't. I wrote fan fiction by myself in my room alone every night to cope. Thank you very much. I was so confused and shocked by it all, but I thought, surely this won't last. Surely an adult will step in at some point. And one day, my teacher did. So, okay, I have acid reflux. The acid in my stomach likes to do the vertical boogie up my esophagus, and thus my tummy makes weird noises sometimes. And one time during a test, it was making weird noises. The class quietly laughed at me, which was normal and happened a lot, but then I heard my teacher say, Alyssa, stop making stupid noises. And then my classmates laughed at me. Not so quietly, and that sucked. So, Miss Middle School Teacher, I am very disappointed in your behavior. And me and my Kovu plushies, we dislike you for that. Anyway, back to Minnie. This situation proved to her that not only did the teachers not care, but they were also on her side, and I knew this too. So I tried everything to avoid Minnie and her friends. New routes to class, even if it was longer. New clothes similar to what kids like her were wearing, even if I didn't like them. New and different things to eat at lunch and hope she wouldn't mock me for simply eating again. But none of that worked. And you want to know something crazy? These girls couldn't have been that much bigger than me. We were all like the same size. If they were chill, we could have been friends. You could be borrowing my coveted Lion King shirt, but you're not. And whose fault is that? Not mine, Minnie. Oh, speaking of friends, I did manage to make one friend in 6th grade, but I say friend with heavy air quotes because
she instilled confidence in you and supported you, and you finally stood up to the bullies?
God, I wish. I dreamt for a day that would play out like a bad Tumblr post, where all things would magically work in my favor because I had funny, clever comebacks. And then everyone clapped. But no. Here's what happened back in the real world. I'll call this friend Crystal. But Crystal wasn't really my friend. She was friends with Willow, Frankie, and Minnie. So when I'd vent to Crystal about all the awful things they were doing and saying to me, she would say,
I know, but they're nice to me, so...
See, that wouldn't be me.
God.
I would not make friends with
I just want to be friends with everyone. Don't make me pick sides.
Dude, you can't be friends with everyone. I'm proof of that.
Well, you know, Minnie was right. You're a...
So when my frenemy Crystal wasn't there for me, I went to my parents about Minnie and asked them what to do. And my parents told me this. Just ignore it. Yeah, and I know that's often the go-to answer for these kinds of situations, but I'm starting to wonder if that advice is given by people who maybe haven't been bullied before. Because I was already just ignoring it. I would walk into school, get mocked and bullied for being fat and ugly, and I said nothing, and I did nothing. I'd ignore them. Because they just wanted a reaction, and I refused to give it to them. I'd be in class, and when I'd answer a question, I was mocked and bullied for being dumb and stupid. And I said nothing, and I did nothing. Because they just wanted a reaction, and I refused to give it to them. I ignored it. They found out I was on my period, and they dumped out my personal belongings onto the floor for the whole class to see. So I told my teacher, who saw the whole thing, and she told me to just ignore it. So I ignored it. Then they stole my clothes during gym class and stuffed them in a urinal. And again, when I told the teacher who saw it all play out, do you want to know what she told me? Just ignore it. So, I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry to inform you all, ignoring bullies doesn't work. Ignoring stuff like this means ignoring who is starting the fire. And ignoring the people who are getting burned. And when a teacher says to a child, just ignore it, it teaches the kid that no one cares. Because at this point, everyone knows exactly what's happening. Everyone's witnessed it on multiple occasions. And you know what they've decided to do? Ignore it. And ignore you too. So you stop asking for help, and the bullying gets worse, because it's clear no one cares. And do you have any idea what that does to a kid? So, I'm here to say, you must ignore the advice to just ignore it. I don't care how much you hate yourself because of what others made you believe. You're not stupid, you're not ugly, you're not a loser. You are a person with so much inner power that your vibes intimidate people. At the very least, I'm starting to suspect that bullies may not be the best judge of character. I think those girls picked on me for being, quote, fat and ugly, not because they wanted to go on jogs together and then go to Sephora for a makeup montage. No, I'm pretty sure these 12-year-old girls, they felt fat and ugly. And then they saw me, someone who didn't feel bad about the way they looked and was simply vibing. Or maybe it was because I was confident in my hobbies and abilities. I enjoyed drawing, my stuff got into art shows, I got A's and B's and wrote really good papers. So again, no idea where the logic is in calling me stupid. They obviously took offense to my confidence because they were jealous or felt insecure. Or, if not any of that, maybe the reason they bullied me was because making others feel like garbage is the only way they know how to be happy. And frankly, those kinds of people are pathetic. And I'll tell you now, they grow up to be a nasty breed of Karen. So, to quote the playground parable, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say, bounces off of me and sticks to you. Pew, 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 pew. I'll save you, Kovu. So that's why I ignored my parents' and my teacher's advice. I refused to ignore how Minnie, Willow, and Frankie were treating me. So I went to my teachers about it again, and this time I insisted we got the office involved. Because I wasn't playing around. Not anymore. And I knew I'd be called a snitch for it, and I sure as heck was. But hey, I've been called the other itch word a million times by now. Nothing I couldn't handle. So me, my 3 bullies, and my frenemy Crystal were all called to the guidance counselor's office. And I recall, for a brief moment, they were nervous. For once, they were quiet in the hallway. Here's the messed up part about life. It's not a Tumblr post where everyone claps at the end. Once all the cards were down, the guidance counselor, who was kind of weird and spoke to students in the third person and was totally not qualified for this job, but hey, that's public school, we're underfunded, so we take what we can get, looked at all of us, and she said, "Look, girls, Mrs. Last Name just wants everyone to be friends. Can't we all just be friends?"
Yeah. At that moment,
these girls are not my friends. You have to act like someone's friend in order to be someone's friend. That's why we're here, Mrs. Guidance Counselor, oh wise one. We can't just hold hands and sing a Barney song when 4 out of 5 of us have stinky hands. And yet, the guidance counselor insisted we all just be friends again, and everyone just say sorry. And that is when my 11-year-old brain realized a lot of things. I was dealing with people who couldn't care less about telling the truth, about being respectful, treating others the way you want to be treated, you know? Like all the posters in this office said, I had no one by my side for any of this. Crystal didn't have the courage to back me up. My teachers didn't care. Nobody did. So, what did I do?
This Illymation video was brought to you by the letter C for confrontation. Learn her, respect her, but do not fear her.
I relate again, very firmly, that these girls were not my friends. They were my bullies. And peace was not an option. But the counselor didn't listen. She insisted I, and I quote, stop bullying my friends and apologize. So, that's what I did. After that, I said nothing, I did nothing, and nothing changed until I was able to move classes 1 year later. I used to have this storybook belief that when people hurt you, they will eventually say sorry and mean it. But when I was a kid, I learned that no, that's not how the world works at all. There are people who will hurt you. There are people who don't even know you who will hurt you. There are people who will turn on you just for fun, just to see how much they can get away with, because all of us have been hurt before, and all of us are still hurting. We're all outrunning something that we don't want to deal with. But you know what? I truly am sorry you're going through it, but so am I. So is everyone. So you don't get to toss your crap into someone else's yard just because you don't want to clean it up. Maybe quit pooping in your own yard so you don't have to deal with this, oh no, where do I throw my poop problem. This is a metaphor for self-sabotage. And I don't care who witnesses me throwing your own crap out of my yard and back in your face to deal with, because we both know which stinky hand it belongs to. The second you stand your ground and take no crap, you will have that power back. The power of pity. Looking back, I feel sorry for Minnie and Willow and Frankie and Crystal. They were probably going through something awful, and that's why they acted so horribly. Of course, that doesn't excuse it, and no amount of sorries can change the past, but the way I see it, you either run from it or learn from it. Oh, the only way they could fix a situation like this is to face whatever's making them so upset, so they can finally be happy, for their own sake and for others. And I won't lie, the things they said and did to me back then obviously still stick with me. But I do want to assure you, if you're watching this and you're in school right now and someone's making fun of you for being weird or walking weird or dressing weird or whatever crap they throw in your yard, just remember, that is just a baby Karen. And their karma will come. We've seen it. I know this video is a bit different from my usual content, but if you liked it, hit like, and if you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And, as always, stay safe.
Yourself or tell a teacher. Anyway, that was my reaction to Illymation, How I Survived Middle School Mean Girls. let me tell you, it's not always easy to deal with bullies, but hey, don't just ignore it. Try and deal with it in your own way, whether it's be telling your parents, telling a teacher, or just standing up for yourself in any way possible. Hope y'all have a good day. Bye.